On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Christy Nome totally gets grilled. I got a couple things from it. Not a whole lot. I actually watched almost the whole damn thing. Man, they tore into her. There was a few of them. But Tom Tillis was probably one of the worst, and he was a Republican. And boy. Needless to say, she did all right. I don't know. I wasn't real thrilled with her, but at the same time, I wasn't disappointed either. I don't know. Felt like she got beat up on pretty hard. Maybe she blinked her eyes a lot. I'm not sure. F-15 pilot, one of the dudes damn near was killed. Threatened to be beat up with a pipe. And looks like three dudes. One was filming, so two guys you can see in camera. We'll show that. Got a lot of updates with the war, of course, in Iran. A lot of updates, and it does sound like we're doing better than most. Also, a small little discussion is going to be around this interesting divide that's happening in our community, I would say. One of the things I find very interesting is, and this is, again, this was just like 9/11 to me. It just feels exactly the same to me, where you are not allowed to have an opinion outside of the one that people want you to believe. People are very, sure of certain things. And if you don't believe it exactly the way they believe it, then you're a big, big, giant, huge problem. I made the mistake of looking at some comments in one of the videos yesterday. Needless to say, there was a few people that were pissed off at me. One, about the Candace Owens stance I've taken. Two, I think about the idea of Israel and just being they hate when I kind of don't hate Israel or, love Israel. One of the two. I guess you're supposed to do one of those. We've got another individual that's super famous on our side of the fence that is doing kind of like what Candace Owens did. Basically saying, I'm not going to vote until I get my way or until they stop doing this or whatever the case is. And when I think about who that hurts, it hurts our movement. It hurts the part of us that's trying to make America great again. It's hurting the majority of us that are trying to make this country good again. That's who it hurts. It separates in fractals from within our own side. Now, many could say, Dan, you're doing the same thing with Candace. Absolutely. I'm not gonna argue that I'm not. But I think there's a giant difference, example, between TPUSA and what they've tried to do and how they've tried to benefit the planet and they've made a huge impact in the last election, by the way. They get a lot of credit for that. They've brought a lot of younger people to the conservative movement. They've done a great thing, okay? Now, was there smuggling going on? Was there stealing going on? Was there some weird thing maybe going on in the background? That is very, very likely. Does that diminish the organization? Or does that just diminish the individual or individuals who were involved in the crime? Essentially, smuggling money, I think, is one of the biggest things that seems to stick. And so that's the question I ask. Who is doing more damage? Am I doing more damage by calling Candace out on the fact that she's totally just trying to destroy TPUSA? I'm not attacking anything else about her. I'm just calling out the fact that she's literally dividing or destroying or trying to destroy something that's done great good. Is there some shenanigans in there? Probably. But again, she's gone all over the gambit, just as one example. Now, Julian's Rum is the new one. And again, not trying to pick on anyone. Julian's name's popped up so many times. He's one of the many people I'm familiar with. But again, and I've probably shared a bunch of his stuff in time, assuming it's a him. And I've got that post, I think, here. I voted for Trump. I won't be voting again. Many young conservatives feel the same way. We're sick of this shit. And it's just like, one, I don't know, maybe there was some set of comments that this was related to that I don't see the context, so it's just kind of like, what are you pissed about exactly? I'm assuming it's the Iran war. And again, it's a very black and white view of things. I find that interesting. Am I happy that Israel's attacking? No. But let me ask this. When we took out the bad people in this country, the people that we've deported, people that we've gone in and arrested, maybe even a few of them have done some nasty things and they've gotten hurt in the process. We feel bad about that. It's just weird where the lines are drawn. This is arguably one of the most terrorist states that existed in this this world for over 50 years or almost 50 years. They've done horrific things on this planet. And the side that's supporting them, we're going to show here in a second, is the Democrats. So then to have people kind of jump onto that bandwagon, I don't know, it feels weird to me, guys. I get that, right now the way it looks, like this picture, Trump's pulling death row records from the 90s, right? It's pretty funny. Trump's got 34 felonies, 3 baby mamas. He's been shot, kidnapped a sitting president. He's running our government like death row records from the 90s. That's funny as hell. But at the same time, I think this is why a lot of people feel this way. Right? This is the concern. Trump's being a thug. Trump's doing all this warlike stuff when in reality, Trump stopped 8 wars. Trump is stopping the deep state. Now, the deep state's doing everything in their power to stop him. We've seen what's happening on the courts. We've seen how that's been so extremely difficult. And then again, most of these same people are now attacking Pam Bondi, attacking Blanche, attacking Rubio, attacking Hegseth. You see, there's a commonality there. They keep claiming they're MAGA. We're MAGA. We're MAGA. But they're destroying and attacking the people that are actually trying to help. And what's even worse is they don't offer any other solution. They don't offer any other person to vote for. They don't offer anything. Just division. It's one of those things where I guess if you see it, you see it. And if you don't, you don't. Much like I probably agree with Jordan Sather when he's down here. He's like, here's what he says. I'll just read his whole thing. Few people's reaction to Julian's rum show that some people really do treat it like a cult. Do I share Rum's opinion? No. Am I going to descend into hatred and petty name-calling because of that? No. Maybe we can, have a mature conversation about our disagreements instead of getting our panties in a wad. Quite the concept there. I seem to remember a pretty famous person getting killed last year for simply trying to have conversations instead of let society live in partisan hatred. And yet, so many still haven't learned. 100% agree with Jordan on what he's saying. No one's learned. Caitlin Sinclair TV posted this. This is why you can't script this man. Trump, a reporter was asking Trump, who takes over now that the supreme leader is dead? Trump, I don't know. I guess the position's open. I'm creating jobs in Iran. That's awesome. That's awesome. Here is the funeral of Iran's supreme leader. I'm hoping there was a couple people. They were. I think there was the second person they killed too. Not sure if they're doing both of them at once or if literally they blew Khomeini in half and they're like, we need 2 gaskets. Needless to say, they're trucking them through. God, can you imagine like if Israel's probably like, dude, can we bomb this thing, please, please? This will make more sense in a little bit because Israel did take out a whole bunch of leaders in a very, very smart way, interesting way, gnarly way. But yes, needless to say, they're trucking them through the streets. So yes, not everybody in Iran is thrilled to pieces at what we've done. Just about everybody that doesn't live in Iran is, and a lot of people that live in Iran, probably over 50%, also don't like this guy. So we've got more support than anybody on the other side of things. Here's a great example. An incredible moment. The Iranian women's football team, FYI, it's soccer here in the United States, they refused to sing the Islamic regime's national anthem at the opening match of the Asian Cup. So check this out. This is just kind of cool. But I think she was supposed to be singing, obviously, hence the microphone not being used. I'm guessing that's her mom. But if not, that is a woman that is proud of the fact that they're not singing that stupid anthem. Good for them. Democrats, this is how they're taking care of business. Literally, Iranians celebrating. Here's Democrats.
More attention! More jobs and education! U.S. imperialists! Boots on the ground, no bombs in the air! Boots on the ground, no bombs in the air! U.S. out of everywhere! U.S. out of everywhere! No boots on the ground, no bombs in the air! No boots on the ground, no bombs in the air!
That was like Cardi B rolling on that one, huh? I don't know. I like the fact that they also got, what is that, one of the YMCA guys there, Men at Work? Isn't that one of them? Swear to God, it's one of those guys. I don't know. I think the black guy was the police officer, wasn't he? Interesting. Cowboy was. I don't remember what the cowboy was. I wasn't a huge fan. I think I know 3 of their songs. Whatever. You got to do what you got to do. As far as music this week, too, I've already got the songs pulled. I haven't recorded. I'm doing that today. I'm looking forward to it. 60s rock, basically. I haven't done that in a while. It's always good. And I don't know. For some reason, rock seems to do really well on my channel in general. So a lot of good stuff. What do we got? Some Doors. We got some Hendrix. We got, I don't know, got a whole bunch of good stuff. It's kind of along those lines. 60s, though. Kind of maybe more that later 60s for that matter. I think I got a couple songs in there that bleed into the earlier parts of the 60s, but you're going to love it. Some really, really, really good music, especially considering we're in a time of war. That felt like an appropriate genre as well. All of that said, and we've already talked Julian's Rum, so we don't need to do that again. Virginia Governor Spanberger is facing huge blowback after releasing that illegal immigrant who stabbed a woman to death. This individual that stabbed the woman to death had a huge rap sheet going way back, and they let him out because, that's what they do. They just put him back out on the street. They commit crimes again, and they're like, yeah, we're going to let him back out on the streets. Like, right? And Trump gets stopped everywhere. And Trump's the one that we're pissed off at, supposedly. Julian's Rum and Candace and all these other people, right? They're all pissed off at him. It's like, why aren't we focusing our anger where it should be focused? On people like this. This is ridiculous. Donald Trump tweeted this out. America's elections are rigged, stolen, and a laughingstock all over the world. We are either going to fix them or we won't have a country any longer. I'm asking all Republicans to fight for the following. Save America Act. All voters must show voter ID, identification. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. No mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. That's it. Simple. 3 things. Let's make that happen. Now, of course, Senate is refusing to do the filibuster thing. Suppose they don't have the support. They don't have enough Republicans to support the Save America Act. Just think about that for a second. Now, I would love to see Thune get a vote, but that might screw up the idea or possibility of getting it back to the floor. There's some tricks they can maybe do that, but then certain people have to vote no, like Thune himself, I think, so he can bring it back up. And whoever votes no is going to get crucified. I mean, quite literally, crucified. So they probably don't want to do that because Thune's probably going to end up on the cross with everybody else. We'll see. Maybe he deserves to be. I've said many, many, many times, if there's more than 5 people in the Senate that are worth keeping, I will be absolutely dumbfounded. And happily so, but absolutely dumbfounded. Now, I will say, and I've got a story here coming up shortly, that I do think a lot of these people have been threatened. Again, Trump gave Cruz a pass, so I'm going to be nice to Cruz, and I've always kind of said Cruz is a lot of talk, and I've said many, many, many times that I think he's had the life of his daughter threatened. You either do what you are supposed to do or we'll kill your daughter. So Cruz does like any parent would. His daughter's far more important than any weird thing that's going on outside of that. And I wouldn't argue that. That's probably the right choice. I mean, I say probably only in that, you want to think the country can maybe be larger than family, but I get family is your everything. There's no way you're going to sacrifice your family, your child, for your neighbor, right? So, again, I get it. I totally get it. Trump's Department of Justice appeals a loss in the Michigan voter roll case. They're asking for emergency expedited hearing. They're allowed to get this. This is a runaround. They're like, you're doing this in the wrong court. They've kind of just given them the runaround in a lot of ways. They've sued 29 states, including the District of Columbia. But yeah, they're having a hard time. So far, the administration has lost 3 cases and had a 4th dismissed without a prejudice for being filed in the wrong jurisdiction. The DOJ filed an emergency motion to expedite appeal because it raises an issue of urgency with regard to the security of elections in the United States, and that the security and sanctity of elections in Michigan would be questioned absent an immediate ruling on this issue. Hopefully, the Supreme Court will help. We'll see. We've got more to talk about with them coming up here in a little bit. Indiana GOP rep Jim Baird, his wife, dies of complications after a car crash. Again, this might just be totally random. That's certainly horrific, and it's GOP rep. His wife died in a car crash. Oh, well, she suffered complications in a car crash and then died from it. And this car crash happened in Washington, D.C. in January. So this is the kind of thing where I think, they were married 59 years. 59 years. You can't even take a poop without your other half being in the house. You know what I mean? You probably just like, I can't. I'm all backed up. They're out of town. My whole system's out of whack. Another example of California's absolute, total, abysmal failure, and this is frankly funny, and I kind of hope this happens more. I hope every single good player in all major league sports boycotts California, and New York, frankly, for that matter. I'd love to see New York and California soon have the worst teams in every league that they represent. California strikes out major league pitcher, turns down the Padres' $40 million offer, and instead takes, I think, a $30 million offer. It stays with the Diamondbacks because he didn't have to come here to California to pay an extraordinarily extra amount of tax money. Literally. It's like, nah, I'll take a little less money and I'll stay in another state and not go to California and have to give up an insane amount of my money. In fact, in California, if they make over $1 million, they get the joy of paying an extra 1%. And I think they've got an even enhanced tax on these sporting people. It's absolute highway robbery, the way California just treats people, especially anybody that's successful. I mean, it's very unfortunate, but if you become successful, California is not where you want to be. And I've realized that too. Like at some point, I'm probably going to be more successal. I hope. That said, at some point, and it's probably not horribly much further away, but at some point I would literally, and I love my home. I was thinking about that. I'm like, man, I might actually have to move. I hope we can get our state fixed. But this is not a state you can be successful in. You just can't. So it's very unfortunate. And we lost baseball players, which is kind of funny. DHS, they interdicted 6 suspected smuggling vessels. This is off the Pacific coast, just down by San Diego. Captured 82 migrants just off our coast. So that's good stuff. 6 boats, 82 people. Damn. Probably some other stuff. But yeah, Coast Guard did a good job there. Secretary Noem, we've got a couple little snippets of her. This one right here, she's setting the record straight with Dick Durbin. Don't be a dick. Always makes me think of Triple X. I love that start of the movie when he steals Dick's car, whoever the Dick guy was. I forget what his name was. And keep talking about the Dick guy the whole time he's recording himself when he's stealing the car. That's a great movie. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, it's a fun movie. All said, here's Dick Durbin. Don't be a dick, Dick.
Let me ask you about the fact that 85% of the 400,000 immigrants that ICE arrested during President Trump's first term in office had no violent criminal record. The president said over and over at his rallies, we're going after the worst of the worst, the terrorists, the murderers, the rapists. And then it turns out that 85% of the people you've gone after have no criminal history whatsoever. How do you explain that?
Sir, when you talk about violent crimes, what you're saying, the crimes that don't matter, that you aren't counting, are ones that affect American families every single day. You're not counting DUIs, you're not counting embezzlements, you're not counting theft, and you're not counting the other crimes against people and drug trafficking and proliferating that. So if you don't count those as crimes, that these individuals and impacting families in this country.
They are counted, and they calculate 14% of those that you
Those are not
arrested.
counted in your 14%. If you were counting crimes that these illegal aliens in this country have committed, it would be well over 65 to 70% of the individuals that are detained today have those crimes on their record, besides the crime of being in this country illegally.
Going to back that up with some information for me?
Absolutely, I will.
I certainly hope you will.
You feel like he was being a dick? I felt like he was being a dick. Certainly. Dick Durbin. Being a dick. Good job, Richard Durbin. Mr. Dick. Here's Mr. Cruz. He got to close out. It's kind of weird. Was it Grassley, I believe, was leading this? And then he's like, at the very end, he's like, I'm going to hand it over to my distinguished colleague or whatever. You know, I got another meeting I got to go to. It's like, dude, you're okay. Right on. But anyway, Cruz closed it out. He had really nothing but nice things to say to her, but he had some really cool stuff here at his closing remarks. Check it out.
Like sentinels standing watch at the walls of a city, the men and women of DHS guard the homeland day and night with extraordinary dedication and professionalism. And yet, over the past 18 days, Democrats have shut down the very department tasked with that mission, weaponizing the budget process to advance political disagreements. The same voices that once called to abolish ICE and defund the police have now left the Sentinels unsupported and the Watchtower dark. That is what the Democrat shutdown has done.
And it has. They claimed it was for ICE. We all know it wasn't. We all know because it didn't shut down ICE. ICE was already funded. They knew that. Please. So, again, the irony is amazing. I want to remind you guys about Healthy Home. I love these guys. Love talking about them, too. STEM Active is 2 forms. They've got a gel. Well, I got 3 forms, actually. They've got pills, which I personally prefer. And I started taking it because I was having shoulder pains. I had a dislocated shoulder when I was younger, and I was working out and was just hurting. And I'd found out about this company and the stem cells, and I started taking them. And I would say about 3 weeks in, and I wasn't thinking about it. I was just taking them every day. And then I was working out one day, and I was doing the military. It was the the upper bench? What do they call that? You do the upper pec basically. And I was doing that incline bench, I guess they call it. And then I was doing that, and I was like doing it, and I was like, I put it down, and then I started doing my second set, and I was in the middle of my second set, and I'm like, why is this not hurting? Holy shit! And it stopped. My girlfriend had calcification in her shoulder. I actually saw the X-ray. I remember circling it like with my finger. I'm like, there's your problem, honey. And she's like, what? I said, that white stuff, that white right there, that's not supposed to be there. That's not good. And that's sure shit. That's exactly what the doctor pointed out. He says, you got calcification. She didn't want to do all the stuff they wanted her to do. And I think they gave her a shot or something, and that was it. And then she was taking the STEM Active. She was doing the gel, which she preferred. And it went away. In fact, she kind of stopped taking it after that. I kind of recommend taking it. I still keep taking it because it just helps with your stem count, your stem cells. It helps your body create more of them. Those are your healing cells. They've also got it for your pets, which is super cool. It just helps. It's your healing cells. So as we age, fewer healing cells in our bodies. This is a great way to help your body be able to age, be able to replace itself. And stem cells are cells that can become any cell in the body. That's why they're so magnificent. That's why stem cell therapy is so amazing. Problem is those usually come from fetal cells. This is from your own body, which is arguably better. But fetal cells just have the most miraculous effects. I'm not saying it's okay and I don't feel good about it. I'm just telling you, and I've never done it, never used them. I know people that have gotten severe injuries and they've given stem cells, and like healing happens super fast. Stem cells are your healing cells. So make sure you're giving yourself the best chance at healing. Because as we age, that's what oxidize and all, it just starts destroying your body. You got to stay up with it. Otherwise, your body starts to wither. You know, you can tell when someone starts to wither. They start to hunch over. They start to shrink down. They start to lose weight. That's when they're losing the battle. And your days are marked at that point. Stay active. Stay mobile. Stay healthy. And you will live all the way up until your last day. Balance is another one. Ladies, when you're going into baby making or out of baby making, it is one of the most extreme experiences y'all seem to go through. Not speaking from experience, speaking from seeing it on the outside sometimes, but I've had some very lovely ladies kind of explain this to me and how this prescription, or how, it's not a prescription, but how this product helped them. One of them was on the synthetic hormones. She liked it. It was cool, but she started using the Balance also while using the hormones, and it was even better. It answered all of her questions. She felt perfect. It started, just helping with her sleep, helping with her moods, helping with her temperature, helping with all that stuff. The other lady, she didn't like the synthetic hormones, started taking Balance, and that fixed it for her without the synthetic hormones. And again, same thing, feeling better moods. And what it also does, and sort of why it's so aptly named, is it also helps with relationships, because you're kind of not fighting all the other aspects of yourself, but you're able to actually not fight those things. You're balanced, and you're now able to just kind of enjoy life again. This is bringing balance back to women's lives, especially, of course, women leaving that baby-making part of their lives. But it works for young girls, too. And it's just a transdermal lotion. It clicks. They say 1, 2, or 3 clicks. It's like how much you pump out, basically. So you click it, you put it on your wrist right here, you rub your wrists together. That's it. You've done it. You've done your deed. Amaze is collagen peptides, incredible. Just your hair, fingernails, joints, sagging skin, all that stuff. is based off of the collagen. And the peptide is the best way to bring it in. It's actually a liquid. I got to bust open this box. I need to start, well, not start. I've been taking it. Been actually really good lately. And again, it just makes, one thing, it makes my dang nails grow so fast. My hair's been growing kind of long too. I need to eventually get in and get it cut, but been way too busy. So that said, Amaze is fantastic. And it's like, again, one of the best ways you can get the collagen in you. A lot of people get powdered collagen and you mix it in stuff. Well, that stuff kind of ends up in your stomach and it'll actually spread out around your stomach. And it almost creates like a paper mache. Not super good. Unless you're getting really good quality powder that actually dissolves, maybe. This is a liquid already. I mean, it's literally already a liquid. There's no dissolving. There's nothing like that. So you don't have that problem. This goes straight into your system. It's amazing. And Prime just gives you more energy. It just adds more oxygen to your blood. It's a nitric oxide booster, and you will just notice you have more energy. So if you're working out, if you're playing sports, you're doing anything like that, you're probably going to want to consider that beforehand. It just gives your body more oxygen in your blood, which thusly helps your muscles and helps you kind of deal with that. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Once again, danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Make those healthy choices, and you will live longer. That's the best part. And if you get some of that stem cell for your doggies, they'll live longer too, and your cats. It's a chewable tablet, so I think it works either way. Court rules for WAPO reporter in major win for press and national security case. I just think this is very funny. This has to do with a phone that was taken by a lawyer of an individual that was leaking classified information. They found out, they got the lawyer's phone something, they had records on there, they weren't allowed to use those records, which they were trying to use them in a case. This was one of the DAs that Trump temporarily put in, and then they kicked the case to the curb. Anyway, it's very funny how this whole thing's played out. So the judge has a big problem with this individual's phone being taken without their permission, but when you think about January 6th and the way they ass-raped all the people they did, I just find it obviously hilarious. This is indicative of the problem we actually face. I mean, our courts, it sounds like our courts are far more taken over than I wanted to believe. I thought the Supreme Court was groovy until that tariff case, and then it's just like, oh man, they had an easy out on the tariff case. They had an easy out and they didn't take it. They made things so much worse. That was a weird case to go against Trump on. Again, demonstrating how much the deep state is controlling them. And that's, of course, like England and all these other people, China especially. And, of course, for the first time, too, our trade deficit with China is lower than it's ever been before. Now, I've got two individuals that just really tear into Jack Smith. I don't know, whatever. I thought it was very well done. Jack Smith is a horrible individual. And, again, when you think about the fact that they're worried about this leaking of information and stealing of, illegal taking of the phone. That's how the government ended up with it to begin with, and it was the Biden administration that ended up with it. And the second we want to use it, the judge takes it away from us. Again, just please appreciate the insane irony, and then now truly appreciate these two interviews that we've got, or two questionings that Congress did with Jack Smith. Check it out.
Let me ask you this. Am I on this list? Did you target my records and subpoena my phone toll records?
My understanding is your records were subpoenaed by prosecutors before I became special counsel.
Well, the staff would put this up on the screen. I'm thankful for the great staff who discovered the email where I learned for the first time a few weeks ago that my phone records were indeed targeted. We called AT&T and we've learned that they were given to the Department of Justice, as this email indicates, because I have been in communication with Scott Perry, one of my colleagues here in Congress, who literally had his phone taken from him in front of his family. And of course, as we've already talked about in this document, it talks about you could be in violation of the privilege by even obtaining and possessing this information if the member objected to the disclosure. This happened 4 years ago in May of 2022, and I couldn't object because I didn't know. I didn't know until about 3 weeks ago. My question here is, was there any limits to your investigation or the investigation that preceded you, Mr. Smith? Because as egregious as a violation of separation of powers this is, as an egregious and abuse of power it is, it's far more concerning you are clearly targeting American citizens for merely being conservative or supporting the president. We've got memos that we've already been talking about in this hearing from April 2022 that preceded you that established and opened the investigations, one of which has Attorney General Merrick Garland's signature on it. And the focus was the electors. Now, that was 6 months before you were appointed. You testified earlier, you met and interviewed Merrick Garland and Deputy AG Lisa Monaco. And you briefed the AG and Deputy multiple times. Did you brief them on the electors and the prosecution of their supposed crimes?
Did I? I'm sorry.
Did you brief them on the electors and their supposed crimes?
I don't recall specific conversations, but I'm sure that in the course of briefing them, I discussed...
Wasn't that the purpose of the entire investigation as it was set out? Because putting aside that in 1960, as we already talked about, my friend Mr. Tiffany, that Hawaii put forward an alternate slate of electors, the investigation pivoted to President Trump and, frankly, anybody who knew him. Do you know who Cleta Mitchell is?
Yes, I do.
She's an election lawyer that was involved in filing an election contest on behalf of President Trump in Georgia in December of 2020. A 64-page complaint with over 1,100 pages of exhibits, witness affidavits, and expert witness reports documenting thousands of votes cast in violation of Georgia law, but which were nevertheless included in the vote totals. Now, notwithstanding the disposition of the cases that was filed, is that a criminal act? Filing an election contest on behalf of a candidate for office, a client. Is that a criminal act, yes or no?
No, in fact, we stated...
So why did you deem it appropriate to monitor Cleta Mitchell's long-distance phone records in 2023, 2.5 years after the election contest was filed and after the presidential electors were certified? What about Jen Ellis? What about Sidney Powell? What about Bill Sepien? What crime did you suspect had been committed by them that would warrant monitoring their phone records 2.5 years after the 2020 election was certified?
With respect to Sidney Powell, she is one of the co-conspirators alleged in the indictment. I don't know what you mean by monitoring, sir, if you're talking...
Well, there were some 400-plus Republican conservative groups and leaders who were targeted by your investigation. Their financial records were obtained, records of the RNC, the Trump campaign, Cleta Mitchell, the Conservative Partnership Institute, the America First Policy Institute, NRCC, NRSC, PACs, conservative groups, people all across the country, citizens, because we hear a lot about members of Congress. And we should, because of separation of powers and the egregious abuse of power. But what we're not talking about enough, in my opinion, are the American citizens that have been targeted. Because frankly, are there any limits to the power of a special prosecutor or special counsel? So much so in your abuse of power that in the summer of 2024, the indictment involving classified documents was dismissed after determining your appointment violated the Appointments Clause of the Constitution, but you continued to sign your name on court filings until the time you resigned from office in January of 2025. A federal judge just recently stated a prosecutor who continues to sign his name in court filings after a disqualification order should face disciplinary action or disbarment. I yield back.
Right. So again, the fact that he did all the things he did is not looking good, but this was the difference between the deep state and us right now. This is why it's so hard and so frustrating, I guess, for me when you've got people, and I'm not trying to just pick on them, but she's giant, so I'm punching up. But you got your Candace Owens, you got these people that are, coming out and trying to divide everything, and it's like, we're already fighting a huge divide. And how much it exists within our own ranks is painful. Again, having discussions is what I'm talking about. I'm not ever telling you to stop listening to Candace Owens. I haven't said that ever, I don't think. I certainly don't mean it if I did. But at the same time, be careful kind of what you absorb and accept. I mean, I've seen people literally freak out at me because I'm not all over this Erica Kirk thing. And like I said in the comments, I'm like, I just don't agree with you. That's like, start your own show. If there's something so important to you, that's a reason to start a channel. Dude, you talk about it or do that. That's awesome. I'll actually be more thrilled if I pissed you off, and in being pissed off, you created a channel. Even if you're speaking against us, I'm happy. I've motivated you in a good direction. So it's just strange, right? But here we are fighting all this crazy stuff. And we got the deep state that's quite an adversary. And certainly it's just amazing how much we've been infiltrated, Anyway. Here we got Brandon Gill. He's talking to Jack Smith. A lot of this has to do with Kevin McCarthy, but still interesting. Check it out.
many days after Kevin McCarthy was sworn in as Speaker did you subpoena his records?
I don't recall, but those two things had nothing to
It
do
was
with one.
16 days after becoming the highest-ranking Republican in the House of Representatives. You subpoenaed his toll records. Do you agree that that might reasonably be considered a violation of the speech or debate clause?
I do not, and I want to be clear that the toll
You were
records-
collecting months' worth of phone data on the Republican Speaker of the House, the leader of the opposition, right after he got sworn in as Speaker, all around the time of a major vote. That sounds like a flagrant violation of the speech or debate clause to me, and I think most people agree with me. And Speaker McCarthy had no recourse, did he? Because you issued a non-disclosure order ensuring that neither he nor any of the American people knew about these subpoenas. Is that right?
The toll record, the non-content toll record subpoenas, we did secure non-disclosure orders for those subpoenas.
You did, and let me ask you, Mr. Smith, at the time you secured those non-disclosure orders, was Speaker McCarthy a flight risk?
The non-disclosure order was based on concerns about
Was Speaker
obstruction.
McCarthy a flight risk?
He was not.
He was not. Then why did your non-disclosure order refer to him as a flight risk? It says right here, the court finds reasonable grounds to believe that such disclosure will result in flight from prosecution.
Sir, when securing a non-disclosure order, the risks don't have to be
You
associated.
think that the Speaker of the House is a flight risk?
the question?
No, this is not your time. This is my time. You think the Speaker of the House is a flight risk? You think he's going to hop on a plane and leave the country?
No, what I was trying to explain is with respect to a non-disclosure order, the risks aren't necessarily associated with the subscriber to the phone. They're the risks to the investigation.
I think that you were using, this was clearly in reference to Speaker McCarthy, and you were using clearly false information to secure a non-disclosure order to hide from Speaker McCarthy and from the American people the fact that you were spying on his toll records. But I've got more, so let's move on. In May of 2023, you also issued subpoenas for toll records of 9 U.S. senators and an additional representative. Is that right?
In May of 23, we did issue.
You did, and there were non-disclosure orders in conjunction with those subpoenas as well, right?
That's correct, consistent with department policy and
Right.
the law.
So again, nobody would know what you were doing. The senators would, and the representatives would, and the American people wouldn't know what you were doing. Is that right?
The toll records that we secured and the non-disclosure orders were consistent with policy and consistent.
And you knew whenever you were doing that there was a risk you were violating the speech or debate clause. Is that right?
The toll record subpoenas that we secured were with the concurrence of the public integrity.
Your own analysis says that you knew there was a risk you were violating the speech or debate clause. I have it right here. This is an email from John Keller at Public Integrity Section to your team. As you are aware, quote, as you are aware, there is some litigation risk regarding whether compelled disclosure of toll records of a member's legislative calls violates the speech or debate clause in the D.C. Circuit. That's from your own analysis right there. So you did know, didn't you?
Sir, with respect to the item you just put up on the screen, the last sentence states.
Oh, we're going to get to the last sentence.
Okay.
We're going to get to the last sentence. And you cite case law in here, quote, the bar on compelled disclosure is absolute. Is that right? Or do you think that you didn't have to abide by that precedent?
To be clear, this statement is not from my office. This is the statement of the Public
This is
Integrity
your
Section.
justification for those subpoenas and NDOs that you ordered. This was part of your analysis. It's a cursory analysis. I think it's worth noting. But let's get to that last sentence then. Quote, given my understanding of the low likelihood that any of the members listed below would be charged, the litigation risk should be minimal here. In other words, you're using a novel legal theory, which you knew was novel, has never been tested by any court. You're not charging any of these members. Nobody's going to know about it because you issued NDOs. Nobody's going to sue about it, so who cares? We're going to do it anyways. I mean, you walked all over the Constitution throughout this entire process.
Mr. Chairman, the gentleman's time has
spying
expired.
on members of Congress, and you know it. It's absolutely disgraceful.
The time.
I yield.
Yeah. Again, what he did, just novel, new concepts, right? It's just crazy. Crazy. This is who we're fighting. We got some House oversight stuff. You guys are going to love this. Got the part that Hillary Clinton and Mace chat. I got that broken into two. I had it the whole thing, but I didn't know how long that actually was going to be. So we got the two parts that really shows the buildup and then shows the fire. So it should be pretty good. And then we've got just something funny with Bill Clinton. I think it was funny. I mean, most people are horrified, and they're probably horrified that I think it's funny. But it just goes to show his mind, I guess. It's pretty funny. We'll get there, all said. So, yes, House Oversight Committee releases Clinton deposition videos. They're both 4.5 hours long if you really are bored. The thing that was worse, too, because I was desperate. I was trying to find the Mace part of it. I don't know. I always want to call that. I had a friend named Macy. She spelled it differently. So, Mace is her name. I tried to figure out where the question was from Mace. You know, when you just kind of scroll through it or whatever. Yeah, it's all just on them the entire time. 100% of the time, it's just on Hillary's face, which is cool, but makes it hard. So anyway, I got lucky after the effect. Here's the funny part with Clinton. I guess we're getting this one out of the way first, and then we'll get into the good stuff with Hillary. But this is Bill Clinton. He's looking through old Epstein photos that they've handed to him. Here's his reaction as he's looking through these old memories.
Okay.
Mr. President, we have about 5 minutes remaining in the majority's first hour, so I just want to ask you some questions related to the crimes committed by Mr. Epstein and Ms. Maxwell.
Bill Clinton, Mr. Shaky, I just want to let you know that I have heard rumors on the street that this watch actually was, Israel was involved with it. They got explosives inside of it. Just be careful. Might blow off your hand. Thank God it's on your left hand. I assume you're right-handed. That'll probably help. Okay, Hillary Clinton. Got two parts of her. This is the initial part, and she was asked about the Pizzagate stuff. That part of the discussion was kind of fun, and she got in making fun of this QAnon group. Now, again, everybody, it's kind of funny. Everyone says this, and you're right. There's Q, and there's Anons. You're right. But when it all first came out, we all called it QAnon. That was like the hashtag. That was the hashtag that gets you busted. QAnon. QAnon. It was one word. So, again, we all called it QAnon. It's just, afterwards, we're like, it's Q, and there's Anons. Okay. I mean, again, yes, I've been involved. I mean, that's what got me into creating the channel, too. I mean, well, I created the channel initially to do the Law of One stuff, but then I just stopped using it. I was just doing my manifesting crap. Then all of this started happening, the stuff with Q, and I'm like, frick, I can do that. I was listening to X22, who I kept listening to, and I'm like, I could do this. So, needless to say, that's how it happened. X22's huge, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Dave. All said. Hillary Clinton asked during her Epstein deposition about Pizzagate.
2017 speeches and interviews, you described Pizzagate as a baseless conspiracy theory, alleging you and others ran a child sex trafficking ring from a Washington pizzeria basement. Have you reviewed any 2025-2026 Epstein files that were released that you believe reference or relate to those specific 2016 claims regarding the Podesta emails, Comet Ping Pong Pizza used as code possibly?
I'm sorry, you're asking her about whether she's reviewed emails in the Epstein files which relate to the wacky Pizzagate scandal.
You could characterize it however you want. I just would like to know if she's familiar with any of them.
So excuse me, your question is about whether or not she has reviewed any emails in the Epstein release files about Pizzagate.
Correct.
Pizzagate was totally made up. It was an outrageous allegation that ended up hurting a number of people, that caused a deranged young man to show up with his assault rifle and shoot up a local pizzeria. I can't believe you're even referencing it. You should be.
There are connections to the language.
Well, the QAnon people believe there are. So
I don't know what QAnon people believe.
Have at it.
But you've accused certain parties, and I think even right now today, of promoting slow walking or information in ways that fuels conspiracies. In your view, did any Epstein-Maxwell related investigations or file handling pre or post 2019 contribute to or intersect with the spread of Pizzagate-style theories about Democrat figures?
Objection.
I have no way of answering. That is the most
speculation.
ridiculously.
Have you or your representatives identified any Epstein file content that has been misinterpreted online to revive those claims? And what steps, if any, have you taken to clarify?
Again, object on the ground of
I think that this is all very
speculation.
reasonable.
Well, first of all, I don't follow the crazy conspiracy stories that are online. I regret that anybody does. I find it quite sad, but also disturbing that people would believe some of what is put forth, like Pizzagate. So I have taken no steps to review anything
Do you think
that might
pizza-
have any connection to something which I think is totally bogus.
Yeah, bogus beyond words. Bogus, man. Bill and Ted's second movie came out now, apparently. Rep. Nancy Mace continues to, well, this time, actually piss her off. This was fun.
Until her crimes were revealed and she was indicted and tried and convicted, I don't think people knew very much about at all
And
what
then
she
how do
was
you know
doing.
Howard Lutnick?
I know Howard Lutnick because when I was senator on 9/11, the firm he headed, Cantor Fitzgerald, suffered the greatest loss of life. As I recall, something like 650 of his employees were murdered by terrorists that day. Howard Lutnick missed being a victim because he was delayed dropping
know
his
that. I
child
asked
off
him.
to
No.
kindergarten. You asked the question. I'm going to answer your question.
Now you're gonna yell
This
at
was
me?
what I spent
You're
my
going to yell at
time
me.
doing.
I'm a
I
survivor
spent
trying to look out for other survivors trying to
and
protect
I
one of
was
them.
taking care
You
of
waited
the
6
people
months
who
to
lost
get here today.
3,000
6 months,
lives
and now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me
I
about
have met
Howard
with Epstein
Lutnick.
survivors. I'm a survivor myself. You have emails. You've denied that Jeffrey Epstein, that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to you.
I did
but
not.
Howard Lutnick was
If
used
you
to
have an
get
email
money.
with me asking Jeffrey
I
Epstein
have
for
an
money.
email from Howard Lutnick sending it to Jeffrey Epstein and his people to
I
raise
don't-
money for
I don't
you
know about-
for an event, an intimate event for you at his offices
Well,
at Cantor Fitzgerald. You're
look,
going to sit
if
here
you-
today
if you would let me finish.
obfuscate and say to this committee, you didn't try to get money from Jeffrey
I
Epstein
didn't.
when
I
there was
didn't.
an intimate event in an email that Howard Lutnick emailed to Epstein's people and Epstein to get him to come to your intimate event at Cantor Fitzgerald, a very small event. And so I'm not going to put it. You want to yell at me, that's fine, but I'll yell right back.
Well,
okay? I am looking out for
it's
survivors.
very-
I'm doing
look-
the job that you would not do and refuse to do as Secretary of State. Thank you, and I yield back to
No,
Congresswoman.
I'm
Oh, no. And you can't handle the truth. I was totally waiting for that to come out. I was going to play it, but YouTube would just get pissed anyway, so whatever. House Ethics Committee, though, is interestingly investigating Rep. Nancy Mace. Huh. There's a shocker. Yeah, they're going after, apparently there's their reimbursements, I guess, because they get a lot of stuff paid for. They talk about how small they're, like, we only make this amount of money, but they get reimbursements for a lot of their expenses, like rent and stuff like that. All that said, apparently her reimbursements exceeded the total of her D.C. property expenses. Something didn't add up in the paperwork, I guess, so they've gone digging. And there was an extra $9,400 or something. Not sure what that's all about. So whatever. It's probably smack on the hand if she does get in trouble, but it'll cause others to be scrutinized. So maybe that'll be a good thing. I don't know if you guys have heard this story. It's just an interesting kind of aside that goes with this. But Russian businessman Umar, really? DZH? That's like worse than what the Brits do. What, Zazbrelov? Sure. Zabrelov, whatever his name is. It's beautiful. Russian businessman, found dead at the age of 67. He actually considered Ghislaine Maxwell his soulmate. I believe they actually dated at one point, maybe. Whatever the case was, he was very, very much into that chick, and he got smoked. He got killed, gunshot wound, and it wasn't apparently preliminary conclusion that he died by suicide, but they're reportedly still investigating the death. Yeah, like he probably shot multiple times in the head or something, multiple times. It's like he shot himself in the chest and then in the head too, or something. Or it was like the, one of the ones with the Hillary Clinton thing where they were shot in the back or while hanging or something. It was, shot with a shotgun while hanging, which would be so hard to do. Anyway, craziness, weirdness, who knows? Probably connected to something. Big tariff victory. U.S. and China trade deficit plummets in Trump's first year. It's the lowest it's ever been. It's actually second highest trade deficit we have now. The highest is with Europe. It's like 20%. And I think, I want to say China's was like around 9 or around 11 or something like that, but significantly lower than Europe. Congressman Andy Barr, he's talking about making a $250 bill, putting President Trump's face on it. Yeah, he's working with the treasurer on this. I don't know if this is legit or not. It wouldn't surprise me. We probably do need another denomination because of the way inflation's happening. It'd be so cool. I'll definitely get one, hang on to it forever. Put it in a frame or something stupid. But yeah, that'd be cool as hell. It'd be fun to be able to afford to buy a sheet of them, but that ain't happening. I mean, that's, wow. What are like 10 in a sheet or 20 or something? Depends on the sheet size maybe, but needless to say, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I like that. All right, what else we got? Oh, SCOTUS. A little bit of SCOTUS action here. All right, and not SCOTUS, but I lumped it in here. SCOTUS, skeptical of law disarming habitual drug users. This whole case comes down to an individual that apparently the FBI or someone came in and they found they had a Glock pistol and they also had marijuana. Now, I don't think the marijuana was necessarily illegal in the state, but federally it is illegal. And so basically this case stemmed from that. Now, they weren't high at the time, but they're trying to essentially get around that. But this, long story short, I mean, some people may get high like they might drink. Like drinking could be considered a thing. Well, if you ever drink, then you can't have a gun. Like it's just another way of them trying to limit the Second Amendment, especially for something that's likely going to be considered legal soon. I mean, it's like, do you smoke cigarettes and go shooting? Well, this is not necessarily the same thing, but sort of similar. Whatever the case is, that's what's before them. We'll see how they built. They were kind of actually frowning against taking away the rights of gun owners. It really trips me out. It's like, what, they're going to do everything else really good now, the Supreme Court? Just that one tariff case? Like, what is up with that? That's so strange. It's like other countries or something got involved or threatened or whatever, Strange. Definitely Deep State got involved on that one. Did founding framers intend for the census to count illegal aliens? Court's possibly going to be deciding that one soon. It was filed by the state of Missouri, or Misery, as some of the people that live there feel. We'll find out once again. Obviously, just to give the skinny, if you haven't heard, they believe it had more to do with the slaves. That's when it came out. I think it was the 13th Amendment, I think it was, or whatever. But when it came out, the idea was that if slave owners had kids, or if they were born here, or they were already pregnant, in a lot of cases, that was the case, right? That if they were born, they're American citizens. Because that was kind of, I think at first they were like a sixth of a person, or anyway, that was partially their old census kind of play that the South would do. Because that way, if they bought a bunch of people, that counted as extra votes. Again, they've always tried to control the votes. Always. That's why they bring in cheap labor and then try to get their votes. Done it as long as they've existed. This is how they roll. Supreme Court blocks redrawing of Republican-held congressional district in New York. New York was trying to basically make it a fully Democrat state. There was one Republican district. The Supreme Court basically blocked it and said, no, you can't. You can't do that. So they pushed that back down. We'll see how that plays out in the big picture, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to use that in the upcoming election. So that's a big slap in the face for the deep state. Minnesota is now suing to block Trump administration withholding Medicaid funds. This is going to go to a district court. So, of course, the district court is going to tell the administration they must give the money, but the district court is not allowed to make that call, and there are issues with the way the money's being spent and the way it's being managed, and how else are you going to control that? We just keep giving them the money so they can waste it. So this will be fun. I'm guaranteeing the district court, and it'll be one of the names we've probably heard before. They'll tell the administration that they have to do it. It'll get appealed. The appellate court most likely will shoot it down and say, no, this is ridiculous. The administration has the right to do this. So maybe that's kind of how they're babysitting the stupid district judges and then trying to get it up to the appellate court as quick as possible. Some of them have taken a while, but maybe that's by plan. I sometimes wonder with that too, because there's been a few of them that it just causes things to get delayed out, and sometimes that's a benefit. Persian Gulf, it's gone dark with oil tankers. It's kind of a trip right now. There are no detours left. There are a number of them being attacked, and basically Israel said anybody that tries to come through the Strait of Hormuz is going to get smoked. So nobody's going through it. This is affecting the price of oil. It went up a bunch, but it came down Went up to like 84, they said, and it was at 76, I think, when I was looking earlier. We'll see what it's at when we finally get there. But yeah, another tanker was hit. So yeah, a lot of tankers are not doing this. Also, United States, we smoked their last ship in the Gulf of Oman. We'll actually probably see the same thing shared. But yeah, they took out their 11th ship there. This was the last one. Pretty cool stuff. Again, it's back like the olden days. But yeah, that was the final ship that existed that Iran had. They might have some in other places, but I'm sure there's not as much. I'm sure most of their stuff was in the Gulf, and that's it's a bummer for them. Trump is talking about the oil prices and the fact that they are higher, and he's explaining that to us. Check it out.
If we have a little high oil prices for a little while, but as soon as this ends, those prices are going to drop, I believe, lower than even before.
Yeah, they're going to definitely come down. It'll be cool. We'll see it happen. Again, they tried to go up really high, and they ended up dropping down to 73. They were up to 84 at one point. So oil went way up. Everyone freaked out. Initially, the stock market was, I want to say it was flat, the futures, but it dropped hard today. It looks like it's picked back up quite a bit, but it had a bad start to the day. Gold and silver both, kind of took a crap today as well, which I've been saying was going to happen. So this isn't. Oh, silver's actually taking a rebound. Wow, shock. Okay, what was that? Oh, Dow Jones? Oh, Dow Jones took a big rebound. So yeah, trying to save the stock market however they can, obviously. Crude oil, got really high and then went down. Crypto was down, yeah. It's trying to rebound as well. It looks like it's done. Oh, that's Cardano, but I'm sure Bitcoin's. I'm sure Bitcoin's map looks the same there, or graph, I should say. Yeah, they're all taking a rebound. So it's always interesting when they look the same. Like money's just moving around. Whoops, that's not what I was on. Yeah, again, the same bend. You see that? It's still got the same general bend. Yeah, XRP slightly bigger. So yeah, Bitcoin's the big mover right now. That's the volatile one. And the one that everybody's like, again, this is one of those black or white things. You either get it or you're an idiot. It's just like, wow, those are my two choices? Okay. I'm an idiot, I guess. I love it. People are interesting. If you got a 401k or an IRA, we're sitting in crazy times, and we know the Fed's got to go, and we know the new currency's got to be backed by gold. This is one of the things. I mean, elections and real money are the two things that if they don't happen, we didn't win. That's all there is to it. I think the expectation is that we will get there, but there's going to be bumps in the road. Be smart. Move some of that money. Protect it. Protect the buying power. I've talked many, many times how gold protects buying power. Gold specifically. Silver actually protects buying power to a degree, but actually is a multiplier baked in. But handmade tailored suit back in 1915. Today, handmade tailored suit. The only difference is back then it cost roughly 20 reserve notes. Today, it costs roughly 5,000, 5,100 reserve notes. That's the difference. Back in the day, 1915, I could buy 30 chocolate bars with one reserve note. Today, one reserve note will buy me a discount bag of gummy bears. That's what's happened. Protect your wealth. Whatever your buying power is right now, you move that into precious, that's the buying power you're going to hold. Whatever you can get with it right now is what it will stay at. You're not going to be able to go backwards. It doesn't work that way. And you're not going to want to do this to make money. You don't do it to make money. This is still worth a suit. I didn't make any money, but I protected my wealth. Rather than paying 5,000 reserve notes for a suit, I just give them one of these instead. Like, yeah, I've had this forever. It didn't pay that much for it back then, but here we are. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system. Let my good friends help you do that. Move it sideways, tax-free, penalty-free, and you're going to love it, actually, because what they're going to do is they're going to offer up to 10% free silver. So if you got $100,000 that you move over, you're going to get $10,000 of free silver. That free silver is key because there's a major multiplier. Silver. Again, the experts are talking about silver easily hitting 400 to 500 by the end of the year. This pushing it down, they're saying, has a lot to do with the paper contracts, whether it's to help the banks kind of keep themselves from crashing, or if this is literally going to cause the banks to crash. I'm not sure. This is because of the paper contracts pushing the prices back down. Most people don't think they've really got a whole lot left in them to keep doing that. So we're likely going to see, late in the week, early next week, we're going to see these prices start going higher, much higher. And I'm curious to see what they can get them down to. So again, this is the perfect time to do it. This is about the lowest the price is ever going to be for gold and silver as far as Federal Reserve notes. It's only going to get more and more expensive. And you don't ever get it at spot. That's not how it works. It's always above spot, and it's always sold below spot. It's just the way the game is played. Precious metals is an interesting thing. You want to get it before it's too late. Otherwise, it's tougher. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Take advantage of the prices, take advantage of the fact that the market's pretty good right now, and protect what you can. drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system while you can. All right, we got a lot with the war to talk about. Persian Gulf goes dark. We've talked about that. Again, 11 ships have been attacked. Talked about that. I think... why? Oh, that's why, because I jumped back further than I needed to. I'm like, why am I doing this? All right, Netanyahu, we're not going to play this whole thing, but I do have some clips, but apparently it was 20 minutes. Netanyahu basically said if we didn't hit Iran now, we couldn't in the future. They were building new missiles, nuke sites that would be immune from strikes. There was no way we were ever going to be able to hit them again. They knew it. They were like, so we're like, we can't wait. Now, again, everybody's like, oh, this is what they said in the Persian Gulf. I understand. Again, I can't. We're living in the past, but we're going to live in the past, but with a current President Trump. Like, I think today's a different day. Trump stopped a bunch of wars. Trump's tried to do a bunch of things. Trump's actually made America first. So I don't think this is what everybody, all the conspiracy haters are I don't think they're right. I don't think this is, we've stopped listening to Israel majorly. This isn't them controlling us. That's just a narrative that's being pushed. But I don't believe that's true. I just don't believe it. I don't know. You can say I'm naive. That's fine. Right? Like, that's okay. Secretary of State Mark Rubio will be proven true one way or the other. Me will be right or you will not when it comes to this fictitious argument I'm having right now, right? Marco Rubio confirms that preemptive strikes on Iran were necessary.
Assessment that was made that if we stood and waited for that attack to come first before we hit them, we would suffer much higher casualties. And so the president made the very wise decision. We knew that there was going to be an Israeli action. We knew that that would precipitate an attack against American forces. And we knew that if we didn't preemptively go after them before they launched those attacks, we would suffer higher casualties and perhaps even higher those killed. And then we would all be here answering questions about why we knew that and didn't act. Going back to the purpose. The purpose of this is to destroy that missile capability. Why does Iran want that ballistic missile capability? What they are trying to do and have been trying to do for a very long time is build a conventional weapons capability as a shield where they can hide behind.
Yeah, and then they want to be able to put nuclear tips on them and eventually be able to hit the United States. Now, a lot of people are saying, and this is how they're reading it, and I think they're wrong, and you can listen to it again. They're saying that Marco Rubio was like, well, Israel was going to attack, so we decided to attack too. No, that's not what he said. Israel was going to attack. We obviously don't control Israel. They would have taken the fallout. They would have taken the heat. It wouldn't have mattered. They're their own country. We don't control them. They don't control us. People might disagree with that, but whatever. What he's saying is Israel was going to attack anyway. They were being kind enough to tell us. And we're like, shit, man, give us a couple days. Let us do this with you. And then that way fewer people will get hurt. Because if you do it alone, we're going to get attacked. We're going to get blamed. And, you know, that's just a much tougher experience. Let us come in and just smoke the hell out of a lot of the stuff that's going to hurt us. And then we'll deal with it from there. That's what he's saying. Israel's going to do it anyway. They weren't okaying it. They weren't saying no, they couldn't. Israel was going to do this. They're their own sovereign nation. Just like Israel getting pissed about us with the going to Saudi Arabia. They were pissed about that. Trump brought these people together. He didn't give a shit what Israel thought. Now here's Rubio talking about the United States would not deliberately target schools like Iran.
The strike on a building in southern Iran would The Iranians are saying there's a school, reports of large numbers of schools, including children killed.
Yeah, I've seen those reports. I don't have, I would refer you, not because I'm not trying to answer your question, but I don't want to get it wrong. The Department of War would be investigating that if that was our strike, and I would refer your question to them, and I'll make sure they're aware that you have that question. But we'd like to know. Well, clearly the United States would not deliberately target a school. Our objectives are missiles, both the ability to manufacture them and the ability to launch them, and the one-way attract drones. That would be our focus, and that's what we would be focused on. We would have no interest and, frankly, no incentive to target civilian infrastructure. The Iranians are, on the other hand, targeting civilian infrastructure. You guys have seen it. I'm sure you've seen it. They're hitting hotels. They're hitting embassies. They're hitting airports. They're hitting oil infrastructure. Well, it'd be very tragic, but I can't speak to the details behind it because I just don't have it. It would be a tragic outcome if it's happened. I don't have the details as to what led to it, but what is clear that the United States would not deliberately target a school. They are, on the other hand, deliberately targeting civilians, as you've seen, because you know why? They are a terroristic regime. They sponsor terrorism and they participate in terrorism.
Now, one thing some analysts are talking about, which is a very, very, very key point. Okay, one, if we would have waited, would have been problematic. We probably wouldn't have been able to get their weapons within a short period of time. Two, their missile technology is definitely evolving quickly. Whatever people want to say, they would have been able to hit the continental United States in a reasonably short period of time. I know the experts say that's 10 years, but those are probably Politico or Axios or some stupid-ass experts or ex-former people that are saying that. That's bullshit. It was probably more like a year, 2, 3. So, no. Now, the big part of this that, like I said, some of the analysts have gotten. Russia. Russia gets a lot of their drones from Iran. This is one of the ways they've been funding terrorism. Thanks, Russia. But this has been helping Russia's war effort by supplying them large amounts of those one-way drones, those kamikaze drones, the same drones that we basically stole and then rebuilt a bunch of, and we used heavily. So Russia's no longer getting those. No more. China got a lot of their oil from Iran at a discount, but their oil. Now, really the only place they can get oil easily, probably a few smattering of nations, but Russia. We just cut off Russia and China from major supplies. This was huge. This is many things beyond. This is 5D chess. This is... So, again, another war. You are so misguided. That's short-sighted. That's myopic, as they would say. That's not what this is. We're 5 days in on something that they're telling us should take 4 to 5 weeks. The guy Ghost, who I actually like, he's one of the ones I really, really like out there, by the way. I mad respect for that dude. But he was talking about, he's like, we're probably 3 weeks. And I think that's what Trump figures probably too in that realm. He's saying 4 or 5 weeks, overpromise, underdeliver. Or sorry, the other way around. Well, underpromise, overdeliver. Yeah, basically what it is. But usually what you do is you tell them, you pad the timing, and you get it done early. That way you look like a rock star. So you've accomplished what you needed to. And that's what Trump's going to do. And then when it's done, and we see all the haters, and we see everybody that was talking about another forever war, right? There's going to be a bunch of them. We've already called out a bunch of them. And then the war stops. Are they going to immediately be back to Trump's awesome again? Yay, Trump. And are we going to be like, oh, cool, I like them again? I worry about us, frankly, figuring it out. I just hope to God that we're able to take care of this more and then just the sheeple that are even on the Republican side, because there's a bunch of them. There's a lot of people that think they're awake because they're Republican. It's definitely not how it works. So Netanyahu, this is not an endless war. I agree. Nobody wants it to be. I guess, I don't necessarily trust Netanyahu per se, but whatever.
So when you take away Iran, when you let the people of Iran have the opportunity to act, to liberate themselves, free themselves from the yoke of this terror machine, you get a different future. I think that will open up the way for many peace treaties with other Arab countries, with Muslim countries. I think it changes the world. Now, of course, it's up to the people of Iran at the final count to change the government. But we are creating, America and Israel together are creating the conditions for them to do so. I think that if If we go through what we plan to do, I think it will create conditions for peace. This is not an endless war. This is, in fact, something that will usher in an era of peace that we haven't even dreamed of.
Yep.
And the part that is also hard for me is I know prophecies want a Gog-Magog war, which is just absolute turn the place into glass. And I think there's a lot of people that actually believe that once that happens, Christ returns, whatever. Like they're rooting for that. I don't know. I just don't think that's what's happening. I don't think that's the timeline we're on. I just don't. I mean, maybe Jesus comes another way or whatever. I'm not saying he's not coming. I just don't believe we're going to have a war like that in this area. I think we've literally are diffusing these wars. We're taking an area that's been at war for thousands of years and stopping that, and then building up something that's pretty magnificent right in its place. This is the golden age that we're beginning, and we're at the front of it. We're at the front edge, and we are doing our part in this time of history. And each one of us will look back and either wish we would have done more, be proud of what we did. Who knows? I mean, I think a lot of us will probably look back and be like, yeah, there's things I could have done different, but okay, come on. I guess Fetterman was on. I love this dude. It is funny. The older gentleman at the gym, he hated me bringing up Manchin. He refused to he's like, I know you say that, but it's okay. Like it's cool. We'd agree to disagree. There's like a bunch of shit he says. I'm like, I don't know about that, Ron. But Ron's a sweet guy. I love him. He even walked up to me the other day and he's like, I like Fetterman. I'm like, what? Fuck, I sit down for a second. Ron, what the shit did you just say? He's like, I like him. I'm like, you wouldn't let me like Manchin. Thank you. Yes. I fist bumped him. I'm like, you're awesome. He had to put his cane down first, but I was, hey, I like to make sure older people put their lives at risk when they're around me. It's kind of how I roll. Needless to say, here's Fetterman talking about his views of this war and the fact that he's the only Democrat that feels this way. This dude's totally going to get elected again. Pennsylvania's got to love this guy. If they don't, I'll go out and friggin' help you, dude.
I mean, I think I summed up my sentiments in just that tweet that I put out. It's like, I mean, every single member of the Senate has agreed that we can never allow Iran to acquire a nuclear bomb. And clearly they were actually intending to do that. So are you really committed to that? Are you willing to just put out tweets and have some harsh language? Or are you really going to support some ones that actually produced that? And now let's look at this condition now after what the president decided to do. And I truly don't understand why people can't just be energized and just actually celebrate. They killed 49 members of their leadership in one day. And now they are sinking all of their ships too. Right? This is a significant development of regional peace in that. So I just can't understand. I mean, for me, it's a country over party. I'm proud to stand with our military. And now I don't understand. It's like, if you really believe that they should never acquire these kinds of nuclear weapons or these kinds of longer range kinds of missiles, and if somebody decides to do that and make sure that that's not going to happen, why can't we all just acknowledge that that's a good thing? It's a good thing for the region. It's a good thing for Israel. It's good for America. And so for me, that's why stand with the country over perhaps what the base may demand.
It's inexplicable.
Yeah, I agree with what he's saying. I think most people agree with what he's saying. This is a huge hit, and we did unfortunately lose 2 more service members, but to my understanding, I'm pretty sure I'm right on this, and they're going to show the explosion, which is huge. This was a big hit. This was the first day. This is the same one that killed 3 for sure on spot. 4th one was in the hospital. He died there, and then they found 2 more missing bodies. They were both deceased. So we've had 6 service members that died in that initial strike. The best of our understanding, the initial strike.
Oh my God! 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 Oh my God!
So that missile, and that looked like one of the hypersonic ones, frankly. That missile did some pretty extensive damage, as you can see. I don't even. There's some stuff in there that could be bodies, frankly. So yeah, very sad. UK p.m., Prime Minister Starmer says the U.S. will not use the British bases in Cyprus. Donald Trump's not happy about that. Very disappointed. I'm curious how this one plays out in the future. There's no way that Starmer doesn't get punished for this in some way. This is obviously the deep state punishing Trump. Diego Garcia would have significantly have helped us. In fact, I did find a video of England shooting down a drone, one of those Shahed drones, with an F-35. I actually thought they lost an F-35, which kind of scared me for a second. But yeah, they smoked a drone. It was like the explosion was just like, gosh, it was like, damn. But I didn't want to give them any points because I'm a little mad at England right now. I'm not mad at the English people. I love my Brit friends. But your government sucks. Government sucks hard. I don't have time for this, so I'm not going to play this one. But yeah, the U.S. is moving to destroy underground facilities in Iran. This was actually kind of an interesting, it was a good interview. Not necessary at this point. Khomeini's replacement, they're saying, is likely going to be more hardline. But what's funny, ironic funny, because it's not really funny. I mean, people died. I don't like that. But then he would say, they were mullahs, Dan. They're infidels or whatever the shit's version of that we've got as Christians. But yeah, they... still dead people. I don't like that at all. Israel's bombs Iran's top mullahs. So all the mullahs got together to vote for who the next Khomeini replacement would be. I think they already replaced him once, and then I think we killed that guy. So I think they were doing the third dude. So instead of having a third guy to worry about, Israel bombs the place where all the mullahs were voting, and he kills all the mullahs, all of them. All the ones that were voting, all the voters got killed. Well, that's how you take care of that. And I guess no more Khomeinis coming? Who are you going to get together now? So, again, we'll see. All right, establish another. They blew that building up, though. They can't try it there again. Yeah, apparently our intelligence is very good in Iran, and that's definitely seems to be demonstrating itself countless times. Trump put this out: if I didn't terminate Obama's horrendous Iran nuclear deal, Iran would have had nuclear weapons 3 years ago. That was the most dangerous transaction we have ever entered into. And had it been allowed to stand, the world would be an entirely different place right now. You can blame Barack Hussein Obama and sleepy Joe Biden. Thank you, President Trump. Radical left Democrats, a party that has completely lost its way, are complaining bitterly about the very necessary and important attack by the United States and Israel on Iran. What most people understand is that they are only complaining because I did it, and if I didn't do it, they would be screaming, why didn't Trump attack Iran? He should do it immediately. There's nothing surprising about this. It's the same people that the other night at the State of the Union address wouldn't stand for anybody, including a mother who lost her beautiful daughter to an illegal alien, a great and brave helicopter pilot who got the Congressional Medal of Honor, or a 100-year-old veteran warrior whose bravery is legend. The fact is, whatever I do, they will be on the opposite side. These people are sick, crazy, and demented. But America, despite them all, is now bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Make America great again. And again, remember, who does Trump keep close to him, and who does he not keep close to him? Whose shows does he tend to show up on, and whose shows does he generally not show up on? Keep those things in mind. There's a reason why. United States is Trump still. The United States munition stockpiles have, at the medium and upper medium grade, never been higher or better. As was stated to me, today we have a virtually unlimited supply of these weapons. Wars can be fought forever and very successfully using just these supplies, which are better than other countries' finest arms. At the highest end, we have a good supply, but are not where we want to be. Much additional high-grade weaponry is stored for us in outlying countries. Sleepy Joe Biden spent all of his time and our country's money giving everything to P.T. Barnum Zelensky of Ukraine. Hundreds of billions of dollars worth, and while he gave so much of the super high-end away free, he didn't bother to replace it. Fortunately, I rebuilt the military in my first term and continue to do so. The United States is stocked and ready to go, ready to win big. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So we got this. Amazon did say drones hit 3 facilities in the UAE and Bahrain. Tehran's, the whole fleet got wiped out. We know that. Operation Epic Fury, Day 4, latest, I think we did a pretty good job with most of this. This is a pretty big blow up. This guy is calling this carpet bombing. Certainly, I don't agree with that. It doesn't look like carpet bombing. It looks like a number of bombs were targeting very specific buildings, but they smoke this area, and that's kind of, well, frankly, it's. I hate to say it, but I mean, I feel bad for all the people lost. It's horrible. God bless you all. Man, it's crazy cool seeing these kinds of explosions. It's really messed up. I am perplexed. I am obviously on both sides of this. Idiot.
Come on.
So true. They blew the heck out of a bunch of stuff, but that's not carpet bombing. Carpet bombing. I was going to show an example of it, but look it up. It's just doof. Just they just fall one after the other. They fall out of the rack at a kind of regular piece, and they just hit the ground in succession, and you just do a straight line. That's carpet bombing. You're blowing the hell out of an entire straight line. It looks like it was, controlled to a large extent. Israel neutralizes Hezbollah missiles with game-changing iron beam. This isn't the best video, but it's what we got right now, anyway. So many are thinking that those are they're shooting missiles with the laser thingy. I don't know. I don't know if that's what we're seeing, right? Like, I've watched this a few times. I'm just not sure that's what we're seeing. This looks like missile launches to me, but some of them disappear very quickly, so maybe that is the iron beam. And you wouldn't necessarily see a laser like so many of us would expect. They'd be like, you should see like a red laser or something. I mean, not necessarily. A lot of times you have to have like a fog in there or something so you can actually see the laser. Sometimes it's just sort of invisible or hard to see anyways, or even can be at a certain nanometer length that's not visible with the eye, but still makes a damn good laser. So there's a lot of those components at work. And so a lot of the stuff just might be outside of the visible light spectrum, which is likely the case. And there's probably something to the frequency. Anyway, I'm fascinated with this shit. If I had it to do over, I swear to God, I would have gone down the physics path. That would have been fun as hell. I'd be making weapons right now. I'm sure of it. I got a few people that are in my audience that work at weapons facilities. You guys are awesome. I'd seriously be doing that. Let's kill them quicker. Like, I'm glad I didn't, but yeah. So this is something, yeah, is this the same thing we're just watching? Oh yeah, it's just pointing out the fact that using Patriot missiles is an extraordinarily expensive way to go about these drones that they're sending. I mean, Iranian missiles, I don't know, $250,000 for some of the rockets. Some of them are a little more expensive than that. Their hypersonics are not that cheap, I doubt. I'm sure those cost a wee bit more. Oops. But yeah, nonetheless. Trump had Iran, but he's really got China in his crosshairs. Like, we kind of already talked about this, basically. So yeah, we've got that going on for us. Like, there we go. That's much better. And dramatic video appears the F-15 down pilot being threatened. This is kind of a little sketch. These are Kuwaitis they maybe didn't know. I don't know why this is not staying. Let's see if I can play it. Okay, maybe not. There he goes. Right? So this guy's got like a bar. It's like, I'm going to beat you. Trying to take away his bag. It's like, all right, hang tight, guys. Orderly. Que pasa? Oh shit, you don't speak that language. Fuck, there's a bunch of those guys who are going to beat his ass. I think the security forces showed up pretty quickly, and maybe that's what protected him. Oh, he's down on his knees even. Wow. No bueno. It's like, what's up, dude? Don't make me punch you in the face. They taught me how to fight. I don't want to have to use it. I will kung fu fight all over your ass. Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, thank God they're okay. Jesus, that would have been a little scary. Like, they already tried to shoot down friendlies, which I kind of wonder if that was on purpose. I still think it might have been. Russia, they lost contact with Iran's nuclear sector leadership. Dude's like gone, probably dead, probably. So they don't know what happened to him. Especially Russia talking about it. Israel commences ground invasion of Lebanon to defend citizens from Hezbollah attacks. Yeah, again, beating the hell out of all the places, I guess, where the bad guys are right now. I do think we are thinning out the deep state. I really, really, really do. It sucks balls, but this is what is happening. Again, I am more anti-death than probably most people, but...
Breaking news, the IDF telling Fox moments ago that they have eliminated Iran's top commander overseeing the Quds forces in Lebanon. Now, this individual is described as at the brigadier general level. As I mentioned, one of the highest commanders there, connecting Hezbollah with the Iranian terror regimes. This is a significant takedown in this strike on Tehran, and it's just the latest out of the Middle East. And that's as President Trump says Iran's forces have been largely wiped out. And he confirmed that attack that Israel conducted this morning on Iranian leadership as they were counting their votes. They took out this Iranian leadership. Big deal. Lots of news. Stay with Fox News all day. We've got more.
Don't do that. I mean, but, yeah. Come check us all out, basically. Multiple explosions near the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh's diplomatic quarter. This was a pretty big boom, if I remember.
That will be a victory. And if we're not already there, we will be soon.
Boy, that noise has to be annoying. That would be tough to deal with for long periods of time. I couldn't even take like 4 seconds. Holy crap. President Trump reveals countless Iranian regime leaders are now dead.
See what happens. A lot of people are coming forward. A lot of the people you would least suspect want to quit. They want to have immunity. They're asking for immunity, and probably at some point they'll be dropping, as you would say, laying down their guns. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, we're just continuing to go forward. Our military is the #1 in the world by far, and we are. Everything's big in my book. Venezuela was big. This is big. The original hit, Midnight Hammer, was big. Everything you view is big, but it's not considered very big by some standards.
Yeah, it's big, bigger than big. It's bigly big. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, we'll see. We'll get there. Let's see. We've got UN officials. They've warned that the United Nations is possibly going to run out of money because no one's paying them anymore. Since the United States stopped paying, nobody else is really paying, or nobody else was really paying anyway, and the United States was like, we're not going to pay. So UN's dying a death. Anybody out there feel bad for it? Nope. France's President Emmanuel Macron says he's going to order an increase in nuclear weapons. He's realizing that, shit, we got to take care of ourselves. President Trump we're being such assholes. Dang. So, yeah, there's that happening. Germany has 39,000 Japanese citizens. Only 2 of them were suspected of violent crimes in 2023. By contrast, out of 25,000 Algerians, 1,729 were suspected of committing a violent crime in 2023. Huge difference, and kudos to the Japanese for being awesome. Or awesomer, at least, right? There's probably races that didn't commit any crimes. China conducts a patrol in the South China Sea, accuses Philippines of disturbing regional peace. I know China's in a very tough place right now. In Philippines, the United States is there too. So China is really being kind of smushed into their own little corner right now, and they're not really big enough to be able to push out of that corner in the horrific dragon-like fashion that they want to. Trump is manhandling China. I don't mean that to disrespect China, because I have people there that I care about, but it's messed up. We had another Boeing issue. United Airlines 787 made an emergency landing at LAX after an engine fire. You don't see any smoke or anything, but yeah, apparently, I mean, that smoke is from the tires. But apparently, I don't know, everybody, when they finally got and stopped, everybody ran off the plane. I don't know if they pulled all the emergency stuff, which I think they don't like to do. It's like having to replace airbags on a car. It's just a pain in the ass. It's like, you don't need to, fuck. All right, guess we're using those today. Damn it. Thing's not on fire. We put it out. But yeah, they returned. And and it's, again, very interesting. Now it's 787, one of Boeing's newest planes. And again, Boeing doesn't make engines. The engine's manufactured elsewhere. If the engine caught on fire, one would question the engine manufacturer. But every one of these stories is always the Boeing 787 had a happen. So a lot of the times it's not even, especially the engine stuff. So I'm very curious what's going on, and I would be wondering which engine company is typically the one that catches fire. Is it GE, or are we talking about Pratt & Whitney? And I would probably assume GE. It wouldn't surprise me if it would be an American one that's letting us down. Outsourcing crap, basically. I have a pilot that crashed his single-engine plane into the Hudson, like the famous pilot that they made a movie out of with pedophile. But yes, this guy calls it out. I thought we had the video. Is it this? One of these had the audio. Maybe I have it. Oh, here it is. This is it. Check this out. This is kind of weird. I don't know. Trip me out.
6 Echo, Roger. I would advise you to maintain some altitude so you get in closer to the airport. I think I'm right up to put it in the water. 6 Echo, Roger. Keep me advised. Let's send some help. We've lost our engine. 6 Echo, assistance is on the way. Yeah, we're going to go into the Hudson. 6 Echo, say that again, please. We're going into the Hudson River. I don't think we're going to make the airport. 6 Echo, do you have any power at all? We have a little bit of power, but it's very rough. We have no oil. We lost all oil. All right, 6 Echo, Roger. We're going to send you some assistance in that direction. I've already run the crash phone out. The winds are light and variable as 4. Roger. 6 Echo, what side of the river are you going to go on? The north side of the river. Are you going to go on the right bank to the east or the bank to the west? The bank, sorry. The bank to the west. The bank to the west, okay, near Newburgh. Keep in mind that the bridge is over there. Keep that in sight. Yeah, we got the bridge in sight. Echo, Roger.
So basically hit the water. He lived. He swam ashore. Yeah, I don't know if he said any. The standard would be any landing you can walk away from is a good landing. I guess I would have said any landing you can swim away from is a good landing, right? Like that would have been funny, kind of in hindsight. Whatever the case is. Dana White rips those who accuse him of turning UFC into a political thing because of Trump. And he's right. And they're dicks because Trump's always been a big fighter. Trump played a huge role in getting them on the map, too. A huge role. He was involved with the boxing and stuff way back in the day with Mike Tyson when he was young. So Trump's always been into this. And so everybody wants him to be removed from everything. We can't enjoy anything Trump likes. Well, fuck you, basically. And he does a much nicer answer than that, but close.
Particularly as it pertains to pro sports leagues, I would think the idea would be try not to be overtly political because then you might lose half of your fan base, or try to really kind of stay down the middle.
How about you be authentic and just be yourself? How about that? Just be authentic. You don't have to agree with me, and you don't have to like it, and I don't have to agree with you, but we can all still just get along. I mean, that's how this is supposed to work.
All right, 100%. In fact, that goes back to my initial starting, right? The Charlie Kirk and all this stuff and Candace Owens. Like, we might just disagree on some stuff. That's possible. Like, Flat Earth, we've been able to pretty much hold tight. I think a lot of the Flat Earth, non-Flat Earth people can more or less talk to each other, right? Unless they're just constantly, like, I've got a friend that just always brings it up. Hey, you see that? That's not how it is. It's like, oh, dude, really? Come on, man. We were just having coffee. It's cool. There's a time for things, What's this? This is, that. Cool. And I got one more story. Yeah, this Guthrie lady. I don't know, more updates. Police released new details on the backpack. Yeah, just bad details. So initially, they thought they figured it out because that backpack, it's exclusive to Walmart because nobody shops at frickin' Walmart. So, Dad, we got them now. So they went to the local Walmart figuring, we're going to catch these bastards. And they found somebody that had purchased that backpack. Well, yeah, it wasn't them. Wasn't the person. Wasn't the suspect. I guess nothing about it matched. Maybe they didn't have a pinky ring. Maybe they didn't have somebody in their house with a pacemaker going. I don't know. Stupid ass. It's such a stupid, weird thing at this point now. I mean, again, I feel bad. I hope she's alive. She's unlikely alive because of all the meds she was on, and they didn't take those with her. So again, this chick's been off her meds for like a month. Now, first off, watch her come back, and this will be the thing that changes the pharmaceutical industry forever, right? This will be hilarious. She comes back, she's like lost weight. She doesn't have any of the blood thinner problems in her hand, right? She's not all fucked up, right? She's totally healthy. Comes in looking like 20 years younger. You're like, what the shit? You look better than your daughter. She's like, I know. I stayed off the meds, and I just feel great. I'm hoping. I don't know. But all this stuff is very, very strange. Needless to say, the backpack was just stupid. Big, giant piece of stupid. Big piece of stupid. All over the place. I'm tired of this story. I want it to go away. I really, 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 really do. I love you guys. Sorry I went long today, but a lot going on. It's hard to, I want to show some cool stuff. I even shaved out a 7-minute video. Just not all of me. I love you guys. We got a lot to talk about coming up, so stay strong. Realize we're in the crazy time. And, a lot of people are being activated inside this country, so just be mindful, be aware, pay attention to what's around you. Have your Second Amendment stuff in, like a DEFCON 3, maybe DEFCON 2 setting. You don't necessarily need to be carrying it around the house with you all the time unless you live in a crazy city. But you probably want it in hands reach or arms reach or be able to get to it quickly, So be ready. Be mindful. Be safe. Don't just go running out there either. Be smart. Be safe. Be prepared. And of course, as always, keep peace in your heart and in your mind, and it'll always help you. It'll always help you. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.